What is up, everyone? It's your boy Jenny back at it again with another episode of Jennie and Friends. Obviously, you know who I am. If you've been here before, this is the podcast where I laugh, chat, and have a bit of a conversation with other content creators. But I'll pass over to my guest today to introduce himself.
Hi, I am YannBeast. I'm one of Jennie's friends. We're from the same gaming agency. We met through that. And I'm a Fortnite streamer who streams Fortnite 5 days a week over on TikTok. That's my introduction.
Nice one. Thanks, Jan. So that's a good point to start, really, I think, in terms of you only stream Fortnite, right?
Yeah. So I used to stream COD. That's how I got into streaming. About November last year, I decided to start streaming Fortnite. Just something my daughter said, really, and then it's just kind of grown from there, and I just found the bug for it. Set up a New Year's resolution that I was going to stream kind of regularly this year, see where it got me, and 6 months in, it's done quite well.
Yeah, you're flying by the looks of it. It's really good to hear. And so you were streaming Call of Duty at one, but I imagine I'm gonna take a guess now. You tell me if I'm wrong. Were you one of the players that really enjoyed Warzone 1 and everything that was going on, and as soon as Warzone 2 come around and all that bullshit, you fucked off, or how did that work?
Kind of. So my streaming in Warzone 1 started the second lockdown. I was not working. Well, I was working, but because I work in leisure, we kept getting shut down all the time.
Yeah.
So Yaz was back at work. Zara was at school. I couldn't do my strongman comps because there's no comps on. I needed something to focus on. So I started streaming Warzone.
Okay.
And then a couple of months later, I found a squad and we started playing tournaments and stuff. And I didn't like the balance of streaming tournaments and streaming practice because I felt like there was the pressure on me. So I stopped streaming. And then when Warzone 2 came out, my love for COD just died. I thought they had it perfect in Caldera, like the movement, everything about the game was class. Maybe not the map, but the game was really good. And Warzone 2 came out and it was an absolute car crash.
Yeah, I think like the mechanics. So it's weird actually because I started streaming February of this year. Right, I'm very, very new to this. I hadn't had any previous experience at all. I jumped into it at first on like February the 29th, I think was my first stream, because it was a leap year this year. I think that's what I remember.
Yeah.
So I jumped in on February 29th and I just went for it hell for leather. I always played Call of Duty. Warzone 1 was good. I actually stopped playing when the Danks left. I went away and just didn't play anything. Basically, right. Just disappeared. Like I think, like people, if you've been a gamer all your life, you sort of find that. I think that although you may have been playing games all your life, there has been periods of time in which life just gets in the way, right? Whether it be like kids, family, work, or whatever else as well. And I sort of went away from it, but actually came back to it full force, especially with this streaming like now. I wouldn't say that it's. I think you've probably made the right decision at the moment. I think like Call of Duty in particular is not the best. What do you think? Because you obviously watch Call of Duty streams as well.
Yeah, so for me, I think COD is in a good place. I just think it's too little too late. The reason that I like to stream Fortnite is because I'm quite low. I'm good at it. I'm ranked in the top 50 in the UK for KD, and I don't find Fortnite that hard. So I can put 20, 30 kill games up quite easily. I can read every single comment. I can interact with everyone on stream and have a laugh whilst doing it. So I think as an entertainer, what I can offer playing Fortnite is more than I can offer playing COD. I was a very good COD player, but I couldn't read chat at the same time as playing. I think you do it really, really well, in all honesty. I think the way that you do it, there's not many people that can have such a good time when playing it. But that's one of the reasons I went over to Fortnite. And obviously, having an 8-year-old who plays Fortnite, it's nice because I can give kind of her the entertainment that she would watch on YouTube, and I can put that out there to other kids and whatnot.
That's crazy, actually. Like I didn't really thought about that before, because one of my earliest memories in terms of gaming and sort of really understanding and knowing that this is something that I might want to do. I remember being sort of like maybe 2007, 2008, Call of Duty 4 was popping. And people were doing silly montages on YouTube and stuff. And I remember watching like YouTube videos and thinking, oh man, that's so cool. And they were almost celebrities to me, or they were celebrities to me, right? Because of people that I watched on the telly or whatever on the computer. And actually, in this instance, it seems like your daughter, like you're that to her, which is that's cool, man. That's really cool.
Well, the reason, so when OG Fortnite came back, I think it was November, Zara, she watches obviously YouTube, and there's a streamer called Loserfruit who's one of the biggest Fortnite streamers. She's an Australian girl, and Zara said when she's older she wants to be like Loserfruit. And I had everything set up to stream, so I was like, well, why don't we stream one day a week? On a Monday, I pick her up from school. We get home at 4. My wife doesn't get home until 6 with our youngest. So we have 2 hours that we could stream. Yeah, and we just did it, just a bit of fun, no viewers. And then we started to grow and grow and grow. And then it's become a thing where, daddy-daughter duos. And it's class. It's really good.
Yeah, well, I think that's really awesome, because I think one of the things for me, like with gaming in particular, I think we still, I'd love to know your opinion on this actually. I think we still live in a world where obviously you and I, when we stream consistently and we've got communities that we've built up, we've worked really hard at, and everything's normal in that community. But when I talk to other people outside of what I'm doing about what I do, there's this stigma attached that it's a waste of time, or so. Do you have many conversations with people outside? What do they think of what you're doing?
I don't. I very rarely talk to anyone about it outside of the people who understand it, because I've grown up my whole life being shot down. Always, like whatever I wanted to do, I always got shot down. People always doubted me. I wanted to be a footballer when I was younger, and everyone was like, "Oh, you'll never become a footballer." I ended up getting offered a contract. I tore my knee, and that was that dream over. My strongman, when I got into that, everyone was like, "Oh, what you're doing, it's stupid. You'll regret it when you're older." And I've been around the world competing, and even though my body is goose now, I've got some fond memories of it. And this is similar, and the people that don't get it will never get it. My family who don't get it, my friends who don't get it, I just don't speak to them. But I'm not the kind of person to just go up to somebody and be like, "Oh, I did this tonight. I did that." So I'll speak to like yourself. I'll speak to my other friends who I game with, or like my mods about it, my wife. Other than that, I don't really, unless someone brings it up to me, I won't approach them with the conversation.
I think it's something that sort of resonates with me quite highly, because I, for the last sort of 10 years or so, well, more than that, I've been in a sales environment, high pressure sales, like software sales. And I think there's always this thing attached to that although you sit, like when you're in a sales team, it is a team in the sense of the word that there's other people there, but actually it's a solo sport. And this feels exactly the same. There's not only is there the pressure from, well, I'm only as good as my last stream, but also although you may have a community of people that you've been building up, and they're obviously very supportive. I'm sure you've got loads of people in your community, as have I, that are incredibly supportive. You're looking after each other, always checking in. You're one of those people in mine, right? Dropping in every day. How you getting on? What's going on? But actually, when push comes to shove, it is the solo sport. You're the face of it, and if you don't turn up, no one turns up, right?
Yeah, exactly. You do. I have found there are certain people. Some people you talk to and you think, "Oh, they're really nice. They're supporting me," but I think in the back of their head, they're more like, "What's he getting up to? What can I steal from him?" And there's another COD streamer who I've known for a few years, and he doesn't stream to many people. But since I've started growing and getting over 100 viewers in a stream, he doesn't talk to me.
Weird, isn't it?
Very weird. And I don't see what the jealousy is, because it's with different people, with different streamers. I stream Fortnite. I'm going to find it easier to get views because I play a game that is more watched than COD. I'm playing it at a level where I'm dropping 30 kills regularly. It's an easier watch.
Yeah, it's a nicer watch, isn't it? People want to watch it, right?
Yeah, more chilled.
I think that you've touched upon something there that I think I've touched upon before in other podcasts, where there seems to be this element of people are happy to help you until you're doing better than them.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, we're getting some feedback on the line. I don't know if it's it's gone. Don't worry. So yeah, don't worry about it. Is it your phone? Yeah, God. You know what? I've never had so many technical difficulties than I have with you. But this is sort of comes back to that whole solo sport element. Like people, when I first started, there were people that were actively supporting and really openly supporting me as well. And again, we're not naming names by any stretch, but people that were really going out of their way to gift me and pull people into my stream and stuff like that. And I feel very grateful for it. But now, having streamed for a little while, and as have you, seen some exponential growth, really good stuff, which actually arguably, like I said, I think it's very difficult, anyway, but very difficult in a very highly saturated market, right? And both of us are doing exactly the same thing. There's plenty of people doing the same thing in the same way, right? But now those people that were openly supporting me back in sort of March time when I first started, I wouldn't say boo to a goose now. I haven't seen them for months. And you sort of think, you're right, where's the jealousy piece? But actually, I think, and I'd love to know your opinion on this, I think that's the bones or the problem with the social media element of this, is that the streaming, you're out there, you're performing, you're putting on a show for your people. But actually, people that are doing something similar to you or trying to do something similar to you are fraught with jealousy, because the instant gratification that you obtain from getting 100 viewers, 200 viewers, whatever, in a concurrent and watching you. Obviously, it's a buzz, but you do that because the buzz is that you've got it and other people haven't, right? What do you think?
Yeah, there are a lot of people out there, and I think they look at you, and not just, I don't mean you, but they look they look at other streamers and they're like, I'm better than them. Why aren't I getting the views, etc. But there's a skill to it, and I've never seen a streamer similar to me as you. The way that you just constantly bouncing, the way you're just singing every song, having a laugh. It isn't easy to do.
No, it's hard work.
It's very hard work, and the way that I look at it is, we know Diaz Biffle, we know Nick Merckx, we've not got that pull, we've not got that skill level. We've got to do what we can to bring people to the streams and make people want to come and watch it. And yeah, you might get some people that are like, this guy's too happy, he's an absolute dick, I'm not going to watch him.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But you've got to find a way that you can bring people in. And the people that seem to get jealous are the people that do the same thing every day. They don't want to take the advice. If you say to them, listen, I think you need to do this, they'll just have an excuse. No, I'm not going to do it. But then they don't realise. So I'm a Blackpool fan, and last year our manager did the same thing every single game, similar to Gareth Southgate at the minute. And I was on a podcast about Blackpool, and one of the guys said, insanity is doing the same thing with the same results, but expecting different results. Talking about the Blackpool manager. And it is. And people need to learn that if you're not getting the views, you need to try something new and figure out what you were doing. I wasn't getting views playing ranked because people didn't want to watch me do that. I wasn't getting views playing on my own. People didn't want to do that. So I found a way to get people to watch me, and then people stay, share the stream, and then you grow.
Yeah, I think, do you know what? It's really important, actually, because I have always said that to people. I say that, like that is in every walk of life, right? The definition of madness is doing the same thing and expecting a different result, because it just won't work. That's the whole point of it. You've got to come at it from different angles. Yeah. But actually, I think there goes one step further. And this actually comes from a sports analogy. I did sports at college and uni, but there's a concept of, there's sort of like 4 states of conscious, right? You have unconscious incompetence. It's where you don't know your shit because you don't know. Right. Yeah. So anything in this world, you don't know your shit is something you've never tried because you haven't got a clue. Right. Simple as that. When you do try it and you realize that it's shit, that's conscious incompetence. You know that you've tried it and you know you're not very good at it. So the whole point of the next piece is trying to work to get to a point of which you're conscious competence. Right. Yep. So you move through to, you're trying hard and you're getting there and something's working. But the point of that concept is that you can easily fall off the back end and become unconscious incompetence again, because you think what you're doing's worked before and it will continue to work as you move forward. When in actuality, what we're not talking about here is the moving feast of what streaming is. You say, like you said there, it's about getting people in, and you have to, whatever it may be, right? Everyone's got their quirks, they've all got their niches, whatever it may. I sing an awful lot and I'm a bit of a fucking nutter or whatever. But I sometimes don't realise that I fall off the edge, and I'll get people messaging me saying, "You're right, mate, you didn't see myself on stream today." And it's because I'm burning out. It's because I'm doing as much as I possibly can, and I've forgotten that that's not how I stream. and then I lose viewers, and I'm like, well, why? How's that working like that? But actually, when you take a big step back and realize you need to become conscious again that you are doing something that you weren't doing before, or you have changed something that you weren't doing or were doing, and that's what's led to that drop in viewers or that increase in viewers as well. And I think you said that it's hard work. It is hard work, especially if you're trying to do high volume, high energy for 4, 5, 6, 7 hours of the day. It's mind numbing, mate. It hurts, but I see other people streaming that have no energy whatsoever and have hundreds of people watching them. So what's that all about?
I think part of it, a lot of them could have been streaming, especially, or had a community for a long time, been streaming for a long time, and they've just got them people that come and watch them. I don't stream that much. I stream 3 hours a day. 5 days a week. Some days I only stream 2 hours a day, so I can try and keep them energy levels up. Plus, I've got a family, work, etc.
Yeah, you got a lot of stuff going on.
And something that I do is after each stream. So when I get to work the next day, I've got a little folder in my office on my computer, and I've got all my stream numbers from each stream, and I write a little bit about my stream. And then if my stream ever drops or something really improves, I can see and I can try and work it out. And I think that helps. But in terms of these people with massive views, I don't get it. And I see other people who have 2 or 3 views, but they're in the gaming rankings. And I'm like, how? How?
Do you know what? I really like that you've got that tangible evidence piece there. That's something that I don't do a lot of at all. Is the whole understanding when you I almost celebrating the wins regardless of the size, right? Understanding the gradual growth, and I do see quite often actually you're always posting on stories. It's like a morning this. Afternoon people stream last night was fantastic, and I see that because it's that keeping that momentum, which is something I'm really dog shit at in all fairness, but that obviously works for you. One thing I would say around the loads of views, no gifts, or 3 viewers, all of the gifts, there is 100%, and I can't confirm this, and I've come to this conclusion on my own, there is 100% people out there that are recycling gifts and money through gifts on the gamer rankings, and they're making a mockery of it. Like you see. So you see certain people on those gamer rankings every week, right? And we're not going to name names. You know who I'm talking about. There's 3 or 4 of them that are there every week without fail. One of them has 3 or 4 people that just gift uni after uni and big gift after big gift, but they gift them between each other.
So then they gift them back to them.
So they just gift them back. But but there's no longevity in it because each time TikTok are taking like 50, 60%. Yeah. So they're losing money.
Yeah.
Every
mad
time.
How much you lose on TikTok. Is that much mad how much TikTok take?
Yeah, the cut is just it's ludicrous, and obviously at this level, it's obviously something that I worry about's a bit strong, right? I think about it because I think if I'm building up a community of people, and if I took them somewhere else, actually go to somewhere like Kick, for example, you'd get like 95%, 5% split or whatever, so you get a lot more off the subs and stuff over there. Whereas over here on TikTok, obviously the difference with TikTok is that it's so highly interactive that you're more likely to get the gifts here, right? Yeah, people where you see that on the screen and stuff.
We actually had that conversation on your stream the other day. One of the guys said, why don't you go to Kick? And we were talking about the TikTok is a flip platform and it's more of an interactive platform and people want the interactions.
Yeah, it becomes really quite difficult I think people ask that all the time. I remember this as well because we're having a conversation about a couple of things actually, which is one I want to get an opinion on in a moment, but around the interactive side of TikTok and how TikTok for me has been instrumental. Right, absolutely instrumental. If it wasn't for TikTok, I'd be nowhere near where I am in any way, shape, or form. The discoverability and exposure that platform gives you. Do you stream on any other platform?
No, so I used to stream on Twitch.
Okay.
I became a Twitch affiliate, and I streamed on Twitch. And then when I started streaming in November again, we tried YouTube, we tried TikTok, we tried Twitch. And TikTok was the one. It pushes you out, doesn't it? It does push you out. It gives you a platform to grow. The other ones don't. And within 3 or 4 streams on TikTok, I started to grow. Whereas on Twitch, I was streaming to 0.0002 people every stream.
It's crazy. Yeah. I've never streamed on Twitch. Like I remember when I was looking at doing this stuff anyway, sort of January, February of this year, and I was sort of going through the platforms and looking at like the likes of YouTube and the Twitches and the Kicks and all of. There's loads of other platforms, by the way. There's obviously big ones, but there's loads of other little ones that people are on. And TikTok for me just was a no-brainer. I don't understand how or why people stream. I sort of get it, like loyalty for inertia. Twitch is a massive brand, right? People just jump on there because that's the one that they know. It's like the same as like you go to Asda's instead of Aldi's or Lidl's, right? Because Asda's is a massive conglomerate. But I can't understand for the life of me, whilst anyone that knows that they can see the more views and exposure on TikTok, why they're still doing Twitch. If they're not seeing anything, why bother?
Yeah, I don't know. As soon as I started seeing what TikTok could do for me, because when I started on TikTok, I did multi-stream to Twitch.
Yeah.
And I was just getting nobody on Twitch because why would I? There's nothing to push me out.
Yeah, no, but no one's scrolling either, are they?
No.
No one's going through Twitch. Like you said on the stream the other day, no one's like TikTok. The beauty of TikTok is that, first of all, I'm pretty sure everyone in the world has a TikTok, or a lot of people anyway. So many people. And they're all scrolling through, whatever it may be. And it may not be anything to do with what they like at all. But if you get those 10,000 likes, you're instantly going to be going on the For You page. And as soon as you're on the For You page, you just need, it's that snowball effect, isn't it? It just starts building and going. People
go on TikTok because they're bored. They just go to Flick. They go to, when they go to the toilet, when they're sat on the bus.
Yeah.
If you can catch someone's attention for a second, for them to see your stream, be like, oh, click on it, that's then a potential view, a potential follower, a potential regular. And Twitch, like you said, if you get 10,000 likes, you're in the For You page, you're going to get 10, 15, 20,000 views that stream. That's a potential 50, 60 new viewers every stream but they weren't even looking for you. Whereas when you go onto Twitch, you normally go onto Twitch and think like, Nick Merckx is streaming now, I'm going to watch him. J God's streaming now, I want to watch him because there's the new guns coming out. Like, that's what you go onto Twitch for. You go onto Twitch knowing what you're going onto Twitch for.
Yeah, I think it's the same as like, it's that if you were, I don't know, the way I'd liken it, I suppose, is like people still watch EastEnders and Coronation Street and Emmerdale, right? But they're going to be there the same day, the same time to watch that program that they have done for the last 20 years. And I think the likes of Twitch, Kick, and other platforms are for those people that have been shot into the stratosphere. I don't see the likes of Kick and Twitch being a viable platform for exposure and longevity for streamers of our size. I just don't. I don't know how you can sustain it.
No, 100% not. And it's funny that you use that analogy because I use that when I'm trying to explain to people about the regulars who come in. And that's one of the reasons I have a stream schedule, because my followers know I'm on at this time. And I have got quite a big bunch of people now who that is their entertainment for the evening. They have the dinner, they have the baths, they do what they want, and then 7 o'clock comes and it's time to watch me stream. It blows my mind.
That's so cool, though, isn't it?
But it is. It's amazing.
I love it, man. The idea of that as well, just being. I mean, look, let's address the elephant in the room. It's the ego boost, right? It's people choosing to tune into you as opposed to do something else for the time. It's still crazy to me. Like, it's crazy that that's even a thing, right? But I think that the importance, that's a really good point. Do you find that the stream schedule is of utmost importance to you?
Massively.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether it's just me. I'm one of these that has to know what I'm doing when. And I think that's coming through from playing football. I'm told Monday we're training at this time at this place. Tuesday we've got a game. We're picking it up at this place. With my strongman, my coach would send me my program on a Sunday night for the week, and I would sit in bed and read it, and I'd know exactly what time I'm doing everything. All my exercises I would know because of work and stuff. I'd know what time I'm doing what. And my streaming, it helps. And having a family as well, it helps us organise what we're doing. But I definitely think a stream schedule helps regulars become regulars.
Yeah, I've tried doing a screen. I'm terrible with it, first and foremost. I'm really bad with it. I not for any reason. It's not like I don't want to put one out, but you just said like you're one of those people that likes the structure. I am actively against it. in every way, shape, and form. I don't like. I don't know why. I've just never adhered to any schedule ever. I've worked for years, like 9 to 5s, right, and however many other hours. I've always turned up. I've always got on, and I've always been there after hours, and I will always put the work in. I just hate the idea of having to commit that time. I'll be there in those times, but I don't like the idea and concept of telling people I'm going to be there those times. I don't know why.
I know it's mad. A couple of my mates are exactly the same as you. Whereas for me, like if I'm starting my stream at 7, I'm sat on my computer at 5 to 7. Everything's set up, and as soon as the clock hits 7, I click start the stream. And even though I have a starting soon thing for a minute, I'm still just sat there watching it. But I don't. But I have to. That clock has to start at 7. Like it can't start early. It can't start a minute later.
Yeah, but there's an element of professionalism there as well, right? That's for me. That screams professionalism, and that screams you taking it seriously, and that's a good thing. I think. I do take this serious. Obviously, you know, I'm there every day.
Yeah.
I'm getting it done
for hours.
But for
hours.
Yeah, and to the point that like it's not detrimental, but it's certainly sometimes. Like, I came off a stream last night at like gone 12, and I was like, oh, my head hurts, and I don't know. Like, and you almost like that's another point. Actually, I'm sort of going off on a tangent here. Do you find that there's any sort of come downs from big streams?
Honestly, I was just about to ask you a similar question. So once I've finished a stream. I sit on especially if it's a big one, like last Monday I had the biggest stream I've ever had. We averaged over 100 viewers. And I'm sat here at my desk, my head in my hands, like what's just gone on.
Yeah.
I can't sit still. I go upstairs, I speak to my wife, I come back down. One of my mods will send me a voice note and I'd be like voice noting him back. And I'm just sat there with this massive buzz, adrenaline. I lie in bed, I'm staring at the ceiling, just thinking of viewers just coming in. It's absolutely mental.
It's all encompassing, isn't it? I remember. So there's obviously, as with all things in life, right? You've got your first, and I remember like the first time doing a stream and being gifted like I don't know. I think it was like 8,000 coins in total, which is not. It's not an incredible amount. It's probably about 30 quid, whatever. It's what I make out of it anyway. I remember like that was the first time I'd ever seen actual proper gifts and like a real tangible like. Shit, like this makes money. Like this
has potential.
What we're doing here actually can have tangible evidence. Like on the outside of it, we can do something with this. And I remember stepping off the stream because, like, my missus, like, as I'm sure with like your missus as well. Like, although it's me doing this, actually, she's like Jazz. You've seen Jazz in the streams, but she's there every day. And she's liking and she's moderating and she's supporting me, even if it's silly things like making me a coffee or whatever. But as soon as I step off, I'm like running in, double high fives. Yeah, what a fucking stream, you know, like absolutely vibing. Yeah. And I find it like I just remember the first, you know, and I'm so happy that you are seeing the growth that you deserve as well. It's so, there's nothing worse than seeing people that stream and you think that like, you can see people that you think are going to do well. Do you know what I mean? You can go, I think they've got something about them. But I can't tell how many times I see people like that and see them drop off, don't bother.
I think kind of we can flip around what you've said because obviously you do mint and it's brilliant. But then when you have a bad stream, the effect on it, and some people might have a bad stream and they can't take it. Like Thursday, I averaged less than 100. I averaged more than 100 viewers less than I did on Monday.
It's terrible, isn't it?
I just wasn't getting the viewers in, and I left the stream like distraught's probably the right word. And I was sat stewing on it all the next day, thinking like, why wasn't I getting the views? Have I done something wrong? Have I upset people? There's probably 70 of my regulars not in. Have I annoyed them? Have I done something? And like I spoke to G about it, and G was just like. He said, this happens, it's TikTok. You might have a week of this and then be back on. You might have one stream like this. He said, it's just TikTok. You just got to keep going. And that's probably the negative side of TikTok is the uncertainty, how inconsistent it can be.
And you couldn't have said it better yourself, man. Like, the week just gone, God's Honest Truth has been the worst week I've had streaming. Easily. Right. Like I had last night was almost like we were back to normal, like nothing had ever happened. But Monday to Friday this week, or Tuesday to Friday this week, absolute dire. I'd lost all of my viewers. I'd lost all of the coming through traffic. I'd lost the likes, everything. No one was there.
So I wonder if if this week's been a TikTok thing then, because like Monday was great for me. The other two streams haven't been as good, but other streamers that I've watched are similar. There's a very big Fortnite streamer, Scottish guy. He's absolutely fantastic. He wears like a wig. He wears a Scottish glasses. Like it's like a persona, and he streams similar to G. Massive numbers. And this week I've been going on, and he's had like 10, 11, 12. And then last night he was back to having 200 plus. So maybe it's an algorithm thing.
Yeah, but do you know what? This is something that's really important that you've said earlier. Like, we talk all the time about, like, me and you have done it on this podcast today, about how great TikTok is for exposure. But it is so easily whipped away from you.
Yeah.
And there is nothing that you or I or anyone else can do about it. And last night, obviously, I felt of a stream. I was really high energy. It was silly, really, I'll be honest. I stepped off, and this morning I am absolutely cream cracker from it. But it was like I had the strobe lights going, we had like trance music, like proper silly stuff, but it was one of the best. I stepped off last night again and went into the bedroom and said, we've done it again, babe. Do you know what I mean? We're back. But it must be something this week, because I feel like this week has just been like pulling teeth. Honestly, at all points, it's like, oh man, what can I do here? How do I change? But then you go back to what we were talking about earlier. You're like, what have I changed? How have I changed it? And then you start questioning yourself and your abilities.
Well, that's one of the reasons I do this log, to be fair, because I can see that I've not done anything that I don't think. But for me, I suppose it's probably not as bad, because I finish a stream, I go to bed, I wake up and I go to my work, where this is your job. So the shadow banning, the low views, it must be mentally horrendous for you, because this is what you've chosen to do for a job.
It's already been... So there's a couple of things to unpack there, really. First of all, I do this full time now. I'm not making enough money to do it full time, but I'd worked hard over the last few years. I built up some money for myself, and I'm supporting myself because I want to do this, right? I'm not saying I'll be an overnight success, because all overnight successes aren't, are they? You know, like we're doing what we're doing. But with the shadow bans, with the views being the way it's been, I've had technical difficulties. The computer's just not been working. This week has been one of those weeks I go, do you know what? I wish I just hadn't got out of bed. I wish I could just start again Monday, you know.
But every time something bad happens, you'll have, I think, months of happiness after it. But it is a mentally draining thing, and in a way, it's probably best it happens all at once, and then hopefully you can come over it. But that's why I gave you my PlayStation, my what's it called, my BattleNet, because I'd rather you be able to use my account and be able to play on it than it just sit there not doing anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I appreciate that as well. And do you know what? Actually, that's probably a testament to all of the people that were so quick to step in and save the day with it as well. Obviously, yourself being one, and I do thank you for that. But there were multiple people, like viewers, followers, who were like, look, just take my account. It's just a game to me. This is your livelihood, you know? And, and I think, and it's, again, one of the biggest things, I think, I remember I said this on the last podcast, but I remember watching like, first things to do as a streamer, or things not to do as a streamer, the big 5 no-nos of streaming, you know, when you're trying to learn the ropes and stuff. And one of them was like, never say that you're trying to build a community, because it comes across really cheesy. But actually, the one thing that you do from streaming right is build up a community of people. And
100%.
the only reason I got up out of bed this week and got on stream was for those people.
Not to let people down. Yeah, I completely agree.
I said to Jazz, like, I have been, like we said, the dark side of it, right, is the deflatedness. And after I had a terrible stream Tuesday. It was god awful. And the joke of it was, I was playing with G-Man all day on ranked Warzone. Exposure.
Yeah, I remember I was at work.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, exposure. I should have had, in my head, I'm thinking I should have hundreds. Because he's there, and like, even if they're passing through, they come on and say hello and drop your phone, or whatever, you know, you're playing these scenarios in your head. I stepped off Tuesday, I thought, I might have to bring work back up. I might have to go, excuse me, can I have my job back? You know, it's been so difficult. But the takeaway from that is absolutely right. I've always said that you have to have bad times to appreciate the good. You have to have the rain to appreciate the sunshine, right? And I've had 3 weeks. Well, what have I been? I've been doing this coming up to my 4th week now, I think, full time. But I've had 3 weeks of absolute bliss, 1 week of direness. But I think I'd take that on a law of averages.
Yeah, of course you would. And if you go to work and you have 3 good weeks, it never happens, does it? Yeah. It's normally the other way around. So, and the thing with the community that you said, it is true. You build up a community, and with our community, Fortnite communities are very toxic, very toxic, because you've got kids with egos. And one of my mates was a big Fortnite streamer, and he's got a Discord with over 1,500 people in it, and it was horrendous. It was so toxic. And he always said, don't build a community. But I wanted to build a community. And we say Fortnite's friendliest community. And it is. We've become this place. There's never any toxicity. As soon as someone tries to be toxic, my mod just gets rid of him. And everyone who supported me for the last 2 or 3 months has taken that on board. They respect me. They respect Zara. They respect what we stand for. And it is Fortnite's friendliest community. And when I'm seeing people in chat saying, blah blah, do you want a game while we're watching, and then playing together and playing tournaments together and stuff, who've met on my stream, and
it's awesome.
That's it is, and that's what I do this for. I don't think I'd ever do this full time, because you never know. But
of course,
as long as I can impact other people's lives, give people the confidence. I started this to give Zara a platform that when she's old, if she wants to do it, she kind of knows what she's doing. She's used to it. And if I can give other people that, then that is why, like you said, if you have a bad stream, and like today I'm going to stream, this is the first one after my bad one, I'm doing it because of them. Do you know what I mean? Because I want to give people. Yeah.
You just get back up. It's as simple as that. Like there's no, and you'll know this, especially being from, it sounds like you've obviously come from an incredibly competitive background, right? Football in particular, especially grassroots here in the UK, is one of the most competitive industries there is, right? Kids in particular, like I was never a good footballer, but I grew up with some very good footballers, the likes of James Ward-Prowse, for example. And I remember, I know, I remember. I used to play with him at Rocco in Portsmouth, because he's from Southampton originally, Portsmouth, Southampton area. So I used to play with him, and I remember watching him go through just absolute turmoil. Like from the outside looking in, just how difficult it was to be competing at the highest possible levels and being brought out of school to go and do it and stuff like that. And you just being from a competitive background, and then for yourself going into powerlifting or weightlifting or whatever you call it. Sorry, it again is actually taking the pressure and just timesing it by 2, because in football, although you've got to perform, right, if your team wins, there's at least an element of I was contributing towards that, so that's sort of okay. When you're powerlifting, it's just you lifting the weight, mate. No one else is helping you.
It is, and when I started powerlifting, my third comp was the European Championship, so I kind of rose up very quickly. Yeah. And because even though that was in the juniors, I was doing so well. Everyone coming into the gym I was getting sponsors, and people were always talking to me. As soon as I went from junior to adult, even though it's a massive jump, I wasn't winning my comps. I was coming 3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
I was getting people coming in well, why have you not won? Why have you not won? And I had to learn then to be very mentally tough, be able to pick myself up off the floor, because people didn't realise that I'm going from being 23 competing against 20-year-olds to 24 competing against people that have been doing it longer than I've lived.
Yeah, but that actually stands to reason why around this building of that community, and coming back to your original point around the friendliest community and stuff. And one thing that I think we shouldn't give any energy to, but I think it's always worth noting, is that people can be dickheads, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And especially when you're in TikTok, when you're streaming on TikTok, and the amount of exposure you get, we talk a lot about all of the great things that happen, or the great people that come in. But what comes with that, obviously, is the bad eggs, right? Is the people that are there just to piss you off or wind you up and stuff. How important do you find it that you get rid of that as soon as possible?
I think it's very important, especially coming from Fortnite. I know that 50% to 70% of my viewers will be kids.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So if someone comes in and they're toxic, for me to just be able to brush that off straight away, take the piss out of them, really.
Yeah.
It shows my community that, just rise above it. And we get kids coming in, and one of the kids the other day said, he's being excluded from school. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm trying.
Not good enough.
No, yeah, exactly. If you're part of this community, that's not what you want to do. Sort yourself out, kind of thing. And if you can, I want to be that role model. I work at a school as well, so obviously I've got that little. But I definitely think that the way that we handle it, and I've got one of the greatest mods in the world. He's brilliant. The way that we handle any toxicity straight away, I think shows people that, especially the kids, shows them that don't rise to it, rise above it. Have a dig at their expense. Like that's
if they're gonna, I find that like there's levels to it, right? And I think you get absolutely right playing Fortnite. For me, by the way, on the outside looking in, I've played Fortnite, of course I have, and I know there's an incredibly competitive market for it, and obviously it's one of the biggest games in the world, right? But for me, I do see that the majority of the people that follow and watch Fortnite tend to be a younger audience, right? I know there's an older one, but they do tend to be younger. Which must actually make your job a lot harder than mine in some respects, because I of course, like, I deal with toxicity the same as anyone else does. But the difference being is that you're quite right there. You hit the nail on the head. You are a role model, and actually more so than most because of the audience that you have. My audience is older. Yours is not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
and that's part of the reason I don't think that this would be a viable job. Obviously, you can get sponsors and stuff, but my community, I don't get loads of gifts. I stream to a lot of people and I don't get loads of gifts, and that doesn't bother me. I've got a creator code that gets used and things like that, but people come in and the kids come in and they're like, can you gift me a skin? And the answer to it straight away is no, because what have you done to deserve that? You need to prove to me. And I have gifted people skins on stream. There's a young lad who did, it was an unbelievable play. And like, there was no way he comes out of it alive. And he's absolutely just turned on someone and killed him. I was like, well, I will gift you a skin because you have deserved. And that absolutely made his day.
Probably his week, mate. Like, he'll remember that for the rest of forever.
Yeah, he probably will. And it's if I can give them that, if I can help them in any way, where in 10 years' time, if they make a decision in life and they think back and think, like, Yann's helped me do that, or Yann gave me that to do that, then my job's done. Like that's how I feel.
That's awesome though, isn't it? To have that, like, that's it. And I think I sort of knew that anyway. Right? I think you've always been wear your heart on your sleeve, and you've always been honest with me, right? Even from the get go, from you. But I'll be honest with you, I'd never heard of you before you joined the agency, right? And that's the whole point of it, right? It's that exposure piece. But dropping into your streams and seeing just the energy there as well, but also seeing the motive behind it is to be a better person. I think quite often what we see with streamers in particular is that everyone's got their own motives, right? Some of them are there just to make the money. Some of them are there just because they think they're the God's gift in the game that they play and they want to show off. Other people there are genuinely there to make a difference. And you can see that with you, that's exactly what you're there to do. I think with the whole, the toxicity piece and carrying yourself better, I think the idea, or for me, the best way to deal with it is that no nonsense approach, right? Just like, you're going to be a dickhead, you're gone. Do you give people like lives is a bit silly, isn't it? But do you know what I mean? Like the chances.
So the way that we normally do it is if you're being a dick in stream, my mod will mute you for that stream. Yeah. If you come back and you be a dick, he'll block you. Yeah. I've only actually blocked 2 people. One of them came in and he said something along the lines of "Go to bed, old man." And I was like, what are you on about? I see you like, I'm not having that. It made me laugh, to be fair. It was a good little comment. But, and then, so we did do customs, and customs, they started getting griefed where people would come in, not follow the rules. And one of the kids, he kept breaking the rules, so we blocked him, and he kept coming back into the stream on his brother's account and was like, I'm really sorry, blah, blah, blah. So we gave him the benefit of the doubt, and we were like, you will unblock you. You come into the next 2 or 3 streams and you behave, and then we will let you be involved again. And he did. And to be fair to him, he is a good lad now. But, and again, I think the way that we were and the way that I gave him a chance stopped him from being a dick. Whereas I think he'd have gone into someone else's stream and just ruined their stream. Where he's actually learned, you earn respect.
I think that's actually a really important point, right? Especially when we're talking about some of the younger audiences here as well. I found that I do get youngsters in, and you know when they're youngsters as well because of the way that they talk and the way that they are, right? There's a very strong difference between the two.
Yeah.
But I think there's always an element of you need to give people a second chance, right? And I think And the whole idea there, I think you're right as well. It's like giving people an opportunity. I suppose it's like the old adage, like give a man a fish he eats for a day, teach him a fish he eats for a lifetime, right? Is that a lot of these children and youngsters and kids, or whatever you want to call them, these people, these individuals that haven't learned their way in the world yet, actually, we have to give them a little bit of slack, because they're learning, some of these people, some of these kids are learning social skills from a screen, from a person that they've never met before, playing a game. They join. If you look at it from a high level, from a bird's eye view, some of these children that may or may not go to school, maybe homeschooled. There's a load of different myriad of reasons as to why they're doing what they're doing, right? But their social is jumping into a room, an online room filled with 50 to 100 to 150 different people, all from different walks of life, all from different elements, and they just try and stand out in that room. So there comes the bullshit comments, the arrogance, and they don't know that those comments are bullshit or they're arrogant. They're just saying stuff.
No, and I don't know what background any of these people come from.
No.
And so you've got to try and treat everyone the same. And like, I'm very much where if someone's name on there's Fruity Loops, and then they say, oh, my name's Josh or John or whatever, I'll try and consciously remember that, because I don't know if they've just been given the phone just so and the switch so the parents can be like, go off and do your own thing. Crack on. So they might not have that. And I want to give as much people a platform to learn from, and hopefully give them something, like I said, that in life they can one day. And if that's making friends, if that's them finding new friends on Fortnite because they're on my stream, then that's a win for me.
That's it. Well, that's what you're there to do, right? That's what you're there to do.
100%.
Yeah, I find that's a really interesting point, and it's something I never really thought about too much before this whole thing. I mean, obviously, being from a sales background anyway, all I did was meet new people, right? And I've always been pretty good at talking, always been pretty good at sort of vibing with people, whether or not I like them. I don't have to like someone to talk to them, basically.
Yeah.
But I find that one thing that is definitely come from the whole streaming piece is being conscious or cognizant of the fact that people are in different times of their life, different spaces, mentally, physically, emotionally. There's so many different elements there that actually I find a lot of people don't really think about. Do you find yourself actively, first of all, have you ever actively had to deal with someone that's probably been a bit emotional and maybe saying some silly stuff that maybe worries you in that respect, or do you not get that because of the age of the audience that you have?
I don't really get that, and a lot. I do get some comments that I look at and I'm like, are you telling the truth here?
Yeah. Oh, liars everywhere, mate. Billy bullshit left, right, and Charlie.
and I think sometimes some kids or people are lonely and they come on the stream and they say stuff because they want to see if I will give them a bit of attention, possibly because they don't have attention at home, or I don't know. So I've come across that. I've never come across anything that I've thought alarm bells.
Yeah.
But like I said, there's definitely things that are said. Most streams, to be honest, and if they say something stupid, like, and I don't believe it, I'll play along with it just to give them, because they're obviously searching.
It's 5 minutes, isn't it? They just want the 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the reason I mention that is because that I've obviously, like I said, been doing this since February. Last night, I had the first instance of an alarm bell ringing, and I'd had. So without going into too much detail, I'd had it was a viewer that's been he sort of joined maybe a couple of weeks ago, subbed up and stuff. Nice guy, been in the streams ever since. No problems, no issues. Funny, just talkative, very conversational, and actually seems like a nice bloke. But I'd asked the question last night, saying, "All right, stream, what we doing over the weekend?" And got some like, I'm going in, doing this. This guy just went, "I'm going to top myself," and I was like, "What the fuck?" And we had like 70, 80 people in there. And obviously some of the regulars are like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And then we started talking about it. But obviously once you've said it, like you can't unsay it, right? It's there now.
And the thing is, like, some people do have that banter. Sometimes you just say to your mate, "Oh, what are you doing?" And they'll be like, but you're sat in a position where there's no way of you contacting him. You don't know him to find out if he's all right. And on his side of it, whether he's joking or not, do you go into someone's stream and say that? Because that's going to put however many people you had in your stream at that time, plus you, on eggshells thinking, what's going on?
What the fuck do you do? Like, so a couple of people that are obviously regulars and subs as well. I've been subs for quite some time, but like, look, you need to reach out to someone. It's not like, that's not, first of all, if it's a joke, you don't joke about it.
No.
Long story short, that's how it is. And certainly not in my stream, and certainly nowhere else, really, if I'm honest with you. But secondly, if this is something you are genuinely serious about, this is a problem and we need to sort this, right? We need to fix this. So we talked about it on stream, and he was going back and forth. And I think I'd like to put it down to the fact, and touch wood, I'm going to reach out to him today, but touch wood, we sort of talked through it a little bit and he'd come around a little bit. But for me, it was a very surreal experience to have because I've got the text to speech as well, right? And I heard it, I went, what? Like, what the fuck? It was very weird, man. Very weird.
Yeah, and because you're in front of the camera, how do you react to that? Because you don't want to be like, it must, because you could nervous giggle, you could, do you know what I mean? Like,
what do you do? And especially, like, you know me as well, I'll have a laugh and a joke, and I realize, like, so I don't know if you do this, but I sort of glanced over to see how many people are in the chat, sort of like have a little look. Okay, yeah, there's like 100 in it. This is not the time to be joking. And I sort of went in like quite abruptly, like, look, we don't do that here, mate. We need to talk. Do you know what I mean? And it was very quick, very sharp. Whereas
and shut it down.
Yeah. Whereas I think if it was like 2 or 3 of us, I might have misconstrued it as a joke, and then I would have reacted differently, and then that could have been a different reaction altogether for him.
Yeah.
And the power of that is really something that's not that a lot of people talk about, but the power that you have in that moment in time. Not that I'm not getting high off of it, but actually the way that you react and the way that you talk and the way that you handle those situations or other situations actually has an immense effect on what happens after.
Huge. In that situation, you got to look at it in one or two ways. He's either joking or he's looking at you to say to him, don't do it. He's looking at you as like his angel, his whatever you want to call it, his safe space. He needs someone to talk to, and he's seen that you're that person. Which
is a good thing, really.
Which is fantastic. Yeah, and it's mad how I think when you look at it, these people who you don't know from Adam know and respect you so much and have so much. Like I can't really explain it, but to them, you are this thing. You are I don't want to sound egotistical, but they look up to you. They want to get to know you. They want to support you. They want you to succeed. And them saying stuff like this to you, in a way, is as stupid as it sounds, is a compliment, because you are that. Do you know what I mean? He's subsea channel.
Yeah, I think, like, without it sounds a bit strong, but I think sometimes you're a beacon of hope for people, right?
Yeah.
And I think we said about this earlier, like, about even when streams are really shit, the numbers are low and whatever else, actually you're turning up every day for the people that are going to be there because they're the people that count on you. And I think that just goes to exactly in this moment here, it's exactly what streaming is about for me. Is like, I'm pretty good. I wouldn't say I'm the best, but I'm pretty good. But actually, like at Call of Duty, but in terms of streaming, I would put myself in. I think I'm one of the best streamers I've ever seen, because I'm doing it.
I agree, Jenny.
I'm doing it the way that I thought it always would have been done, or should have been done from when I was watching it. And actually, that just goes to show, like, the same with you. You see the viewers, you see the interaction. We're obviously doing something right, but it is incredibly worrying that you also have that power and the platform to do that, right? That's dangerous.
Yeah. From what you've just said, then that is one of the reasons why I didn't give up, and I kept, when I was streaming on Twitch, I'm like, why am I not getting views? Because I'm a good personality, I'm good at the game. Why am I not getting views? And it's funny. So on the 1st of April, it was our wedding anniversary. We were out, me and my wife, out drinking, and I was saying to her, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to carry this on. Like, I'm not getting any views. And she said, your New Year's resolution, do it, carry it on. So 2 days later, on the 3rd, me and Zara she was off school, it was school holidays, it was raining, so we couldn't go out. I was like, should we chuck a stream up? And that stream was the stream that took off. And since then, it's grown. But I'm the same as you. I look at myself and I watch other streamers. I'm like, I watch them. Like, I really enjoy watching you. I'm not just saying it because you're there, because I do see you in me and I see me in you. And not just streaming. And what was I saying then? So yeah, I watch other streamers and like I pick up things. I watch people, and it was the same when I used to watch YouTube. I'd watch YouTube and I wouldn't watch it for the enjoyment of watching it. I'd watch it to learn. I'd watch Z-Laner and learn how Z-Laner did certain things. Yeah. And it's the same when I watch streamers. I watch them to pick up good habits, to pick up bad habits, and to turn myself into a streamer. And I believe the same as you, that when it comes to streaming, give me the platform, which TikTok is starting to do, and I will succeed. And I think you're exactly the same. Our personalities, we give good gameplay. And I say this to my mod when I talk to him about it. I feel like I tick a lot of boxes. I'm good at the game. I'm a good personality. I've got a nice setup. It's good to look at. So you put all that together. I'm interactive. I reply to every comment. I learn everyone's names. We do it 20k likes. I do a debate of the day. And that is so I can get to learn stuff from my... So it's like, what's your favourite pizza toppings? And then when people say pineapple, I can hold that against them for the next 3 or 4 weeks when they're like, I'm like, well, your thing counts for nothing. You like pineapple on pizza. And, do you know what I mean? And and it's that's the reason I do it, is to get to know people. And I just believe the same as you, that when it comes to actually streaming, I think in a year's time, we could both look back at this time and be like, we were buzzing at looking at 100 viewers. Now we're looking at 200-300 viewers. Like, I honestly believe that for both of us.
I don't think that, like, I'm feeling like you're probably the same here, but I know without a doubt, if I put my mind to it, I'll get it done. It may not be the prettiest, but when I look back, I'll get to the top however which way I do it, because there's just the mentality that I have. And I personally think that's the only way you make it as a streamer. I don't think the people that are wishy-washy, the people that are sort of half in and half out, and just doing it as a I raise it because there's been a couple of people that have reached out to me personally that were streaming way before me and are still streaming now. And like, I had someone message me the other day who's actually, you would have seen him. I'll tell you after the stream, but after the podcast. But he messaged me saying, "Are you paying for viewers?" And I said, "What?" He said, "Are you paying for your viewers?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, like, "Are you giving money to other people so that they can watch you?" I said, "Absolutely not. And for you to ask me that is incredibly disrespectful."
Weird. What a weird thing to ask.
But he'd done it, like, I think he messaged me. We sort of chat here and there anyway, but he messaged me and just asked the question. But I think he was asking just because he wanted to obviously self-satiate some sort of problem that he was having with his, right? He's not seeing the viewers, and
that takes us back to our earlier thing, that insanity and madness, and people don't want to listen. People don't want to change it. No. Like G came into my stream the other day and he messaged me after, or no, it was on his stream when I popped in. He was like, "You need to do this." And I have that banner that goes across my screen. Yeah. And he said, "Get rid of that, make your camera bigger, make it cleaner," which I've done. I've done that because I've been given some advice by someone who is miles ahead of me.
Yeah. And he knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing. I know he's our manager, so we need to accept what he's saying. But it's if he's telling me this, it's like if I'm playing football and David Beckham comes up to me and says, "You need to strike the ball like this." We strike the ball like that.
Yeah. Shut up, Dave. But it's so important, isn't it? I think that is another key thing for me from streaming, or something that I've definitely picked up, is that, like, humility is your best friend as well. Like, if someone drops in and they give you advice, and you know when you're getting advice from someone that knows what they're doing, right, and someone that doesn't, you know that, you're not silly. Take it on board and just do it. Because even if, let's say, for example, G-Man had said to you, get rid of the banner, make the camera bigger or whatever, and you did it for a month and saw that the viewers had dropped, there's nothing stopping you from putting the banner back.
Exactly. And what you said then about the advice. So on one of my streams last week, we were playing the new reload mode, so the resurgence mode. And I think we'd run something like 4 games in a row, and I was dropping a lot of kills. And this guy came into the stream, and he's a YouTuber. He's got YT and then his name in his thingy. And I think we got down to the last 3 teams. I was on 26 kills. And I'm there having a laugh with chat, and I just push a team on my own, I get killed. And he put a thing in my chat and said, a little bit of advice, concentrate on the game more than your viewers. And I just said to him, I was like, that's not what I stream for. I don't stream to get the wins. I stream to entertain. I stream to have fun. You will watch my stream, and there won't be many more streams that get as many wins as we do, that have as many 20, 30, 40 kill games as we do. Like, you won't, and I'm doing it and having a laugh. So if you want to go and watch these high kill games and high kill wins, go and watch, yeah. And he was like, and he literally then put, I really respect that. And he's been in every single stream since for the majority of the stream, because I answered what he was saying.
Just stand up.
He said, yeah. But when it's something like G saying, clean your stream up, get rid of this, I listen.
That's different, isn't it? It's way different. Yeah. I get that all the time. You get people like, like all the time. Oh, I wouldn't, don't, or reload gun. Go to top of prison. Go get load out, or buy this, get you. You shut up. Shut up.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. I'd literally play this for 8 hours a day. Shut up.
It is mad. It is mad. And going back to kind of what G said, I have watched a lot of streamers, and when you see on their TikTok, because of how it is and with the chat, a lot of the screen is taken. And you see these streamers and they have like all these things happening on this, and I don't personally like that. No, I only had the banner because it says my creator code so people can see. But I've put it on a bit smaller, and I have, because I think the way that G's stream looks, it is clean and it looks better than others.
Mine's modelled exactly after G's. Like when I spoke to I spoke to him very early on, probably in early March, probably like, I don't know, a week and a half after starting streaming, and he dropped into the stream. And I always had this background and stuff, because it was like, I thought, if I'm going to have something to look at, have something nice, right? It was probably cool. But yeah, he dropped in. He's like, yeah, mate, you just need to get rid of everything. Have the gameplay and just be done with it. And actually, I would never go back, because I look at some streamers and like they've got like there's people, they've got like a list of all the people that have gifted them with all of their points, and then they've got like a bin filled with sweets which doesn't do anything. Then they've got like a picture of the music that's playing, and then they have like, I don't know, some sort of creator code across their face, and you look at, you can't even see them. Like, you can't, like, it's just like the top half of the game box. It's very silly.
Have you seen what you can do on TikTok now, by the way? I went into someone's stream yesterday and was holding my phone normal. You what mode?
Compatibility mode, so you can go landscape.
Is that where you... Yeah. And it was like, to see full view, turn your phone. I turned my phone. I was like, oh!
So you can... So you stream through TikTok Live Studios?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just on the left-hand side. You go from portrait to compatibility and set up both.
Right. To be honest, I think TikTok's good because you hold your phone like that. So that's why I'm going to keep it like that.
Yeah.
People like it. People like, you can see better.
Yeah, well, when I first started, so back in February, TikTok Live Studios did have compatibility mode, but they took it out for like 5 months, something like that, 3 or 4 months. So anyone that started using TikTok Live Studios properly in the last few months would have never seen it. But what you can do, compatibility mode's perfect, because on your screen it has both the portrait and the landscape, and it will set up both for you equally. You don't have to do anything with it. Pardon me, but I did find that when I did use compatibility mode, there were probably 10% of my viewers would watch it in landscape because they enjoy watching it. So I think if there's no harm in putting it there if people want to. But I agree with you. TikTok is a scroller, and people are doing that.
Yeah, and it's when I'm watching something, when your phone's in your hand upwards, it's just more comfortable than turning it round.
If you have to do that and then rest it on something and then like sat, it's silly. Yeah, I get it. I get it. But I might try and run a bit of compatibility just to see, because I remember when it first was there, I remember thinking, oh, that's a really good point, because I had people when it went, I had some of my very early regulars were like, oh, where's the landscape mode gone? And they're a bit pissed off about it. I said, well, I'm not. Again, TikTok make the decisions. I'm just here streaming on it, you know. Look, so we're over an hour now. I've got one more question for you before I will stop the recording. And of course, if you've got any questions for me, let me know. Where does YannBeast come from?
So, Yan comes from my name. My name's Yanni, Greek for John.
Is it really Greek for John? I didn't know that.
Yeah. And everyone, when I was a kid, spelt my name Y-A-N.
Yeah.
And it really annoyed me because I'm awkward, and Yanni has 2 N's in. So I'm like, well, Y-A-N is the the logical way of spelling it.
Yeah.
But I want another ending just to be awkward. so that's Yan. And then Beast is, there's two reasons. My nickname in Strongman was the Beast.
Okay.
So before Eddie Hall was the Beast, my nickname was the Beast. Eddie Hall was the Spartan originally, and I wanted to be the Spartan because I have a Sparta tattoo on my leg, and my dad's Greek. But Eddie Hall was the Spartan, so I went to the Beast, and then Eddie Hall became the Beast. But I'd committed, so there was that, and then me and my wife got married on Don't Tell the Bride, and the episode that we got married on, they wanted us to do Beauty and the Beast.
Shut the fuck up!
Yeah,
no way.
Beast is just stuck because
you got married on Don't Tell the Bride.
Yeah.
You lying bastard! I'm not having that.
Swear down.
Shut up.
It's the most watched episode of Don't Tell the Bride. When it's on Netflix, we're the thumbnail for Don't Tell the Bride on Netflix. But because at the time my wife was a beauty pageant person and I was the Beast in Strongman, they said to us, "Would you do Beauty and the Beast?" So yeah.
No way.
So Beast just stuck then. Became
That's crazy.
YannBeast.
See, that sounds like something someone would say in a stream chat. You'd be like, "Yeah, I made bollocks."
No.
Wowza, how interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, one more final question before I let you go. Well, I'll stop the recording anyway.
Yeah.
Have you got anything in the way of advice for some aspiring streamers out there?
Listen to people. If someone gives you advice, you don't have to take every piece of advice on because one person will give you something else, but just listen to advice, take it on board. And the main thing is, and I tell this to one of my mates, you played with him on stream a few weeks ago, and he's starting streaming and stuff, and create not so much a character, but you are a character. Be a character, create that character, stick with it, create what your stream's about, create what your community's about. Make it interesting so that people come in and like I said, listen to people. You're not the best gamer in the world. Don't think you're the best gamer in the world because you're not.
Yeah.
Do what you're good at, become what you're good at, and go from there. And don't get disheartened when it isn't going right, because every time you have a bad stream, you'll have good streams in the future, and it's a marathon, not a sprint. Don't think in the next 2 weeks you're going to be doing this and making millions. It's something that over the next couple of years you need to build up and build up and build up. There's so many people doing this now. It is very, very saturated.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more. Do you want to tell the people?
Follow YannBeast on TikTok.
Yeah, I was about to say. That was going to be my final thing. Do you want to tell the people when you stream and where you stream and all that good stuff?
Yeah, so I stream every Monday and Thursday night, 7 till 10, where we do play Big Map. I stream every Tuesday, 8 till 10, where we do Fortnite challenges. We have a spin wheel with challenges on. I stream every Wednesday morning playing Reload and every Sunday night playing Reload. And every single game is follower-based. Followers can play in every single game. Obviously not the same followers playing every game, but followers get to play. It's a follower-focused stream where we try and get as many wins and have a good time as we can.
Nice one. Well, I'm going to stop the recording now and I'll say goodbye to you properly. But thank you very much for your time and thanks for listening, everyone.
No problem. Thank you.